So we are going to start pattern printing. So we have to print this pattern, and for this printing this pattern we have to ask from the user that how much row he wants to print. So let's ask him system.out.println enter the number of terms. Also you can ask for number of rows is better because generally rows is printed. Enter the number of rows. Row equals to sc dot next int. There is some mistake in the first line. System order print okay. Now we'll run our for loop from int I equals to 1, I is less than equals to row I plus plus. Here system.out.println is used to change the line. Okay, I will show you that if we won't use this system.out.println what will happen. Also, although we can use this system.out.println after all our code, also at the end of the code inside the for loop, it will be safe. Again we will run one more loop for int I equals to 1 till I is less than equals to, okay, I variable is already declared, so we'll declare j equals to 1, j is less than equals to I. Understood the concept? For 1, when I will be 1, it will run for 1 times and print one string. When row will be increased to 2, then it will run from 1 to 2 times, then it will print 3 for 3 times. If we will miss that system.out.println, then it will print 1 star and second star also in this line, third star also in this line. So in order to avoid that mistake, we are using this print line statement. Okay, system.out.println, we need to print star and one space. Okay, so let's check. I think the code is correct. Enter the number of terms 5. Okay, what is the mistake? You can see, okay, yeah, I have to use here print, sorry, it was a printing mistake. See, for 5 1 as we expected, 2 3, and let's comment this out. Okay, now you see what will happen. Same error, all will be stated in one line. After printing this, when this loop get out, and again for the second condition it gets, then it should change the line. So system.out.println, either you can write here or after this also. Okay, this is similar. Okay, so this is necessary. In the uh, generally it is prescribed to write before, because after when we go into the deeper concept we generally forget these all things, and this is a one minor mistake we do. See, for 7 it is running the same, for 10, yeah, it has passed all the test cases, so this code is correct. You can check. Now let's move to our second pattern. We'll copy this code so that we can save our time of writing this much code. Just we will change our logic. Okay, just remove the spaces. Now I'll put here system. Now see, here one logic was there that how much spaces is concerned: 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, 4 space, 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, 1 space, 2 space, 1 space. But that spaces loop we generally haven't put here, because space is not considered here, because already there are a lot of spaces, and spaces are not reflected, so we haven't considered spaces in this pattern. But you see here in this pattern we need to print a spaces. So we will have a loop also for space. So we'll follow the pattern. For first row, how much row? The outermost thing, a row, was a row. How many row we want to print? That was 5. So we took the input and make the loop. Now for this we will have, now we have spaces. So for spaces we will run the loop. You can see when it is 1, spaces is 4, then 3, then 2, then 1, then 0. Okay, let's make one more loop for spaces. Just copy this, Control V, sp equals to 1, sp, yeah, sp is, see, you can put here row minus I. Understood what I could? Row, if for example, if row is 5, for 5, for 1, when I is 1, 5 minus 1, 4. 4 spaces will be printed. Okay. Now for j equals to 1, j is less than equals to I, j plus plus. 1 1 will be printed. Yeah, I think now its code is correct. Now let's check. Proceed. J cannot be resolved to a variable. Okay, sorry. sp plus plus for 5. Okay, we are getting a star. So we did some mistake. I think one more spaces should be added here. And now let's try. See, we added one less space, as one for the star and one for one more space. So two spaces should be there. Now you check for a row, when I equals to 1, it will run from 1 till row 5 minus 1, 4. It will print the 4 spaces and this loop will get terminated. Then it will move to second loop. For j equals to 1 and j is less than equals to I and I is equals to 1. So this will loop will also run for one time and it will print star. Okay, and a space, no problem. Then we will run for I equals to 2. Then we will print the line, we'll change the line, the cursor will come here. Then again it will run from sp equals to 1 to row minus 1 and I is now 2, the row minus 1, 5 minus 2 is 3. So we'll print 3 spaces, 1 2 and 3. Then the j will be 1 and j will, I is 2, so this star will be printed 2 times. So similar approach, I think it is clear. So we'll just comment this, so then we can move to our next pattern. See, in this pattern also we don't need to worry about spaces, because how much spaces is there, it doesn't bother us. Okay, so let's, okay, sorry, we need to copy complete code in order to save our time. I have copied the first code because in first code the spaces is not considered, and in this code also spaces is not as relevant. Between, see, here there are a lot of spaces. If spaces was here, then we should have considered it. Okay, see, for int I equals to, you can do this program very by just changing the loop row I is greater than equals to, just few changes. There are many ways to do this. I am showing you one of the easiest approach that generally programmers do. They generally revert the loop. Now we will see what will happen. What was that? Okay, by mistake I pressed. See what happened. You understood what I did? Then the loop was starting there from 1 and it was going. Now it is starting from row, and you see how many patterns are there till row numbers. For 5, 5 stars are there. So that's why I did from j I is less than equals to 1. J from 1 I and I is 5. Let's consider a row is 5. So one loop will run from 1 to 5 and print 5 stars, and so on, go on reducing it. This is the most easiest approach to solve this problem. Okay, you can also try this for I equals to row, and then we need to change this loop. If we will from 1 to row, then we need to do this from row to I. Understood? then it's the same loop, same condition will be put here and same output will be obtained. Okay, this is one of the approach. Generally second approach is preferred because generally the the programmer doesn't want to convert or change the outermost loop, because it is generally good pattern to follow whatever it is. Now see, in this pattern we'll take this loop because spaces is relevant in this pattern. Why spaces is relevant? See, here we have to print one space, here we have to print two spaces, here we need to print three spaces, here we need to print four spaces. So loop will run from 1 to row, system.out will print space from 1 to no. See, just we will put here 1 to I less than I. Okay, less than I. So for 1 it will not run, for 2 is less than 1 it will run for 1 spaces once. System.out.println for int I j is equals to row j is, here we need to change the condition because we need to run the loop first for 5 times, then 4 times, then 3 times, then 2 times, then 1 times. So loop is running for 1 times, so we need to just add here a condition is less than equals to, I think I am doing correct, row plus 1 minus 1. For 5 that will row plus 1 will be 6 minus 1 5. For 1 to 5 it will run for 5 times. For when I will be 2, then it will run from when I equals to row 2 plus 1 3 minus 1 2 times. Yeah, I need the 2 times. Let's check better. Let's check what is the output. Okay, j equals, there is some mistake in our logic. We need to print, okay, let's change this logic only. Don't use this much complicated logic. For int I, just we will do 4 times I minus 1 minus I. We need to print 1 spaces, then 2 spaces. Those spaces, let me check first loop, space loop is correct or not. Space loop is correct. Space less than I. Okay, space loop is correct. And j equals to I and j is less than equals to j is less than equals to row. Yeah, I did a mistake. The logic was correct. Just we need to move row I to row plus 1 minus 1. Now I think it is correct because for I2 it will be 2 from row 5 plus 1, 5 plus 1 6 minus 1 6 minus 1 minus I row row plus 1. For I am running for 4. Okay, for 4 I is equals to 4 and it will be 2. That time I equals to the row plus 1, 5 plus 1 6 minus 2 4. Yeah, now I think it is correct. Now also some mistake is there. Spaces is correct, space is correct. For int I equals to 1, I is less than equals to row minus I. Let's check. Proceed. Okay, sir. Syntax error. Okay. Arey yaar, let's revert it. No. Row till it is greater than equals to that much. Why you are using your mind? Just invert row minus I and j minus minus. What? I'm using such complicated logic, and the easiest one is here. Two one should be there. Now again the same mistake will be there. I am sure. Yeah, I knew, because we did not reduce to this row for 5 times. Row minus I. Now it will be correct, but also some mistake. Understood? I understood why. Now you will add +1 here, and you will see this code is will run correctly. 6. Understood? See, I was trying to not complicate the code. I was trying to make it from 1 till here put the conditions. Now as the code time, it was taking a time, so I used this approach. So I made it from row +1 minus I for 5. 5 plus 1 6 minus y from 5 to less than equals to 1. So this one will run for 5 times, 4 times, 3 times, 2 times, and 1 time. Similarly, we can also do for j from 1 is equals to less than row. There is also logic for that, but the easiest approach is this. At last I use this approach. Okay, you can use, there are a lot of methods to solve a problem. You can use any of them, all are correct. That's all. Thank you.